You are sabotaging your channel right now. Not with bad content, but with bad habits. Habits that you might not even know you have. So today, we're gonna break them. This first one might sound counterintuitive, but imagine it's 1999 and you're sitting down in a movie theater to watch The Sixth Sense from up-and-coming director M. Night Shyamalan. And right as the movie begins, Bruce Willis appears on screen, turns to the audience, breaks the fourth wall, and says, "Guess what? In this movie, my character the entire time." You'd be pretty upset, right? Well, that's the exact reason you need to stop introducing your video. To be more specific, stop introducing your video like it's a summary to the entire thing. Instead, you need to treat the top of your video like a hook, something that's going to elicit an emotion in your audience. The data on this is brutal. Analysis of thousands of shorts found that 50 to 60% of viewers who do drop off do so within the first 3 seconds. That's all you get. And you know what those creators spend those first 3 seconds on? In this video, I'm going to show you. Remove that phrase from your vocabulary, because saying it kills curiosity before you can even build it. In fact, remove the word intro from your vocabulary and replace it with hook, because in one of those tells your audience what's coming, whereas a hook makes them want to stick around and find out. Do it right and they're still watching, and Bruce Willis's character is still all work and no play makes a creator lose their entire mind. And ironically, it also makes them less creative. That's why as a YouTube creator, I had to stop letting YouTube dominate my entire existence outside of school or work or whatever it was I was doing, and you need to do that as well. Find something, anything, that isn't to do with creating content or one of the other mandatory things you have to deal with in day-to-day life. Burnout is real, and you can see it all across YouTube. In fact, we looked at some YouTube channels that were uploading 5 times a week or more for at least 3 months straight. These creators were grinding hard. But 1 in 4 of those channels have either stopped uploading entirely or watched their views completely collapse. The catch to this advice is that it can be easier said than done, especially when you're first starting out and you're really excited to get going. But this has been the big secret to why I've been doing this as long as I have. It's literally the best thing I do for myself. Sometimes taking care of your creative process is actually better than creating. My favorite way to unwind is to play some video games, or more recently, mod retro gaming hardware. This is a real N64 controller that's wireless now because I opened it up and replaced the motherboard. Gaming is fun, but adding retro gaming to the mix makes it so I never have to go outside. No, this one's not about The Sixth Sense, don't worry. When I wanted to grow my small channel, I had to stop ignoring the ghost over my shoulder. In other words, I had to stop pretending like I was creating in a vacuum. See, when I was writing, editing, uploading, doing the whole process, what would happen is I would get in my own head and I would make mistakes. They could be editing mistakes or pacing problems or just things that I said in the video that made sense to me, but I didn't really think about the audience. So one day I stopped ignoring the ghost and I would just imagine that there was a ghost sitting over my shoulder, judging everything I did, making sure I didn't get too into the weeds. My therapist told me this is unhealthy, but psychologists have said that this is the curse of knowledge. Once you know something, it's almost impossible to remember what it's like to not know that thing. And that can kill so many small channels who forget about the first-time viewers coming into their new videos. It sounds problematic, but the only thing worse than seeing dead people is seeing a dead YouTube channel. Seriously, stop obsessing over YouTube Studio. Is it open on a tab while you're watching this? Stop. This app lived front and center on my phone's home screen for the longest time, and once I moved it to another page, my life got a lot better. It's not good for your mental health, your creative process, or your channel's success to focus on the minute-by-minute performance of a new upload. If you are obsessing over videos out of 10 score in the first 5 minutes or even few days, then you're wasting your time. We've shared examples in the past about how changing a thumbnail on an underperforming video in the first few hours boosted its success, and it went on to do great numbers for us. But for every one of those successful examples, there's 10 more unsuccessful ones. But here's one we didn't really obsess over at all, and it blew up much later. The video was called The Unexpected Rise of the Outdoor Boys, and at the time it was uploaded, it was a complete dud relative to the numbers we were used to seeing. But let's take a look at the behind the scenes on this video, because when we posted it and it was a dud, we kind of just moved on. But let me show you the back end of this video because it's pretty fascinating. When we posted it, it represented more of an experiment for us. We wanted to try something new, a new format. When it didn't land with our audience, instead of panicking and trying to update the title or the thumbnail, we just kind of left it alone and we moved on to other projects. It continued to not perform, and we continued to forget about it as time went on. And then, only 230 days later, it found its audience, and now it's sitting at 780,000 views. It turns out something else going on in the Outdoor Boys cinematic universe eventually got this video recommended to those viewers, and they enjoyed it. And this story isn't even unique to our channel. We pulled every video that reached 100,000 views in the last year. Get this, 40% of them didn't hit that benchmark until at least 30 days after they were uploaded. Over 22% took more than 90 days. And then we zoomed in specifically on smaller channels. Almost 2 out of 3 breakouts take longer than 30 days to find their audience. Nearly 1 in 5 took over 6 months. We've had videos explode after hundreds of days of just sitting on YouTube collecting dust. And if we sat there and tried to min-max them to death, that's time we could have been spending making new videos. Lots of creators go around looking for that one trick or that one secret that's going to transform their life. The bad news is that you're probably not Indiana Jones, and that's probably not going to happen. One of the most common questions we get asked is, how long should I make my videos? And trust me, if there was a magic number that we could just tell you, we wouldn't gatekeep it. We would let you know. There's a different answer for every single creator on YouTube. If we said 20 to 30 minutes, that might be good advice for a channel doing film and animation. But if you're in a different category, in this case education, that is not a good answer. Each channel is unique, each creator is unique. They have their own unique set of problems, and they're gonna have their own unique solution to those problems. But a lot of creators end up on a never-ending merry-go-round, taking one simple trick and trying that, and then another simple trick and trying that, only to end up right back where they started. YouTube is constantly changing. There is no holy grail. Make content that you are proud of and keep doing that. Try to improve with every upload. Do you remember what it was like before you started creating content on YouTube? When you would go to youtube.com and you would actually watch creators do their thing. That's how I got the itch in the first place. I imagine that's how you did too. You saw something you liked and thought, I should try that. But one of the mistakes that I made early on is that when I became a YouTube creator, I kind of retired from being a YouTube viewer in a sense. I'd still watch some of my regular content creators, but for the most part, I didn't do the thing I should have been doing, which was just watching YouTube as a way to unwind like I used to. I would find new creators that way. I would learn new things. I would find new interests. After a good long time, I finally had to stop looking at other YouTube channels like they were my competition, and I needed to go back to just watching them because I wanted to. And listen, I work at vidIQ. I'll be the first to tell you that research is important, and we have a ton of tools to help you with it. Keyword data, outliers, daily ideas, an AI coach. All of these are tools designed to help level the playing field for creators like you and me. By the way, if you're curious about these tools, just check out vidIQ.com/start. But my best ideas always came from those times where I was unplugged from the creative process, watching YouTube channels at 1 a.m., falling down rabbit holes, seeing new techniques and thinking, oh, I should try like my own version of that on my channel. Use tools, they'll change your channel, but also use your eyeballs too, your common sense. This isn't about just consuming content so much as it's about how you consume content. When you stop seeing everything through the lens of being a creator, some weird stuff could happen. For example, you might be less likely to burn out. Or I like to think of it this way. Sometimes my research process isn't the capital R research, locked in kind. It's just me watching some content because I wanted to. And then I end up finding cool techniques specifically because I wasn't looking for them. The point is, don't forget to also be a viewer of YouTube. And no, watching vidIQ videos doesn't necessarily count. We're talking about creating YouTube videos right now. No one starts creating YouTube videos because they want a boss. In fact, the dream is to live the life you want to live on your own schedule. This is something I forgot when I started on YouTube, and I don't know why I let myself live and die by my own arbitrary content upload schedule that I proudly place at the top of my channel banner. If that sounds like you, take that PNG file and throw it straight in the trash. Look, I get it. It's easy to assume that uploading on some consistent, rigid content schedule is going to eventually help your channel reach critical mass, and it'll have no choice but to eventually overload and skyrocket into viral success. Being consistent isn't necessarily bad advice, but it does become bad advice if you let it control your entire creative process. Take a look at all these channels that reached 10,000 subscribers in the last year. You would think that their success was due to following that rigid schedule to a T every single week. You'd be wrong. Almost 3 of 4 of these channels, 74%, had upload gaps of 2 or more weeks during their growth phase. Nearly 70% uploaded less than once a week on average. The medium breakout channel uploaded 1 video every 2 weeks, not every single Tuesday, not even every single week. The post every Tuesday or die rulebook just doesn't hold up here. Consistency isn't necessarily about sticking to a schedule. It can be, but being consistent with your quality is far more important. One unique high quality video every few weeks can be far more impactful than having 3 videos every single week just to make sure you hit 3 videos every single week. But let's play this out though. Imagine this strategy does work for you, and one of your videos on this rigid schedule actually takes up. It blows your channel up, and you're thinking, finally, I did it, only to realize you are now locked into a schedule that is kind of unsustainable. You're either going to burn out, or you're going to keep uploading boring, dry pieces of stale content just to honor the schedule. You've probably heard the phrase quality over quantity in relation to making YouTube videos, but in order to achieve that quality, you kind of need to break free from the quantity part. Okay, this last one is what we'll call the Dr. Seuss effect. Throughout his career, Dr. Seuss became known for his unique art style that was characterized by, among many things, very few straight lines. So what does that have to do with growing a small channel? Well, everything. It's certainly something I forgot very early on. So many creators make the mistake of starting out and assuming that YouTube growth is a straight line to the top. In reality though, and you've probably seen this before, you will upload a video and it'll do exceptionally well, and then your next video won't do as well. In fact, it could even even tank, and then your third video could be kind of middle of the road. That's the Dr. Seuss effect, and especially as a new creator, this is perfectly normal. You're still learning. Take a look at this creator, who we're going to keep anonymous, but they grew to 50,000 subscribers last year, and this is what their upload performance looked like. Not exactly a straight line. The Dr. Seuss effect is there whether you like it or not. It's better to just accept it and not dwell on the times where the line's going down in a direction you don't like. Every video you upload has the potential to get you a few steps closer to your goals. They also have the potential to bring you a few steps back. But along the way, you're always learning something and you're always getting better whether you know it or not. Speaking of those curves and dips, there's actually a 7-part system underneath every creator who's ever broken out. Markiplier, Moist Critical, that guy with 30,000 subscribers who got millions of views on a Minecraft video, and most of those creators couldn't even tell you what it is. But we do in this video right here. So go check that out next.